Good morning, nakap, everyone. On the last class, we studied for the techniques in order to add the columns as well as the measure in Power BI. Let me just open the file that we used on the last class. So you can see that whenever we would like to have the new column, okay, let me just show you this one. You can see that whenever we would like to have a new column, it means that if you see that, okay, the data in our table in Power BI is not enough in order to display, in order to display or in order to visualize some value that we would like to have. For example, when we would like to create, when we know that the information, for example, the sales amount must be calculated from the unit price and quantity. The multiplication result from unit price and quantity. One thing that we normally know is that it would be great if we can just like multiply these values from outside the Power BI in order to just like get it one time to have like the sales amount. But as I told you earlier, that it is possible that for the original source of data, some of the original source of data may not allow you to prepare the data like in that way. So for example, if you have the data from from the website or from the internet, or if you have the data from the database, okay, they don't allow you to change or modify their data on the original source of data. So that means when you get the data from the internet, you might not be the owner of that data or that website. And also, in order to modify the data, for example, if you want to have the sales amount, that is the multiplication result, it might not be possible to do so. So you can just like get all those data first, and after that, you just bring the data into your Power BI. After that, you just like calculate inside Power BI directly. So in this case, we have to create the new column. When you create the new column, that means you have the extra column from the existing data that you have got. But the thing that happened for the column is that every single record must have the data. So what does it mean? It means that when the calculation takes place, for example, you multiply unit price and quantity of that record, and you want it to be shown as a sales amount. So the same action will be done to every single records on that extra column that you create. So that means the result of the calculation will be displayed in that extra column. When you have the extra column to do some or to serve some purposes, for example, to create the visualization according to that data already, sometimes you need to have some data that is about like some specific data. For example, if we say that we would like to have the data that is just like the summary of a column, or if you would like to find like the average value of some column, you have to just use another tools instead, because when you create the new column, it just like have to put that data in every single cell. For example, if you say that you would like to have the sum of the sales amount that you receive for the whole table. So if you say that, okay, you create a new column, and then you try to put, okay, let's say, suppose I just like create a column called sum sales amounts column like this. I say that, okay, I know that we have the function called sum, and then you just like try to sum the column that is the orders detail and then sales amount. Let's see what happened. Once you create this column, the things that happen is that, okay, you have the data, that is the sum of the net sales. But the problem is that if you have a look, there will be the same, absolutely the same data in every single record. In this case, this one is wrong because you see a lot of duplicated data. What should we do if you want to see the sum, or if you want to get the sum of the sales amount? We don't use the column in order to create the data like this. This one is wrong. What should we do? The things that we better do is that we have to use another tool that is called as measure instead. Then when you would like to create a measure, you just like go to Home tab and then choose New Measure here. Okay, measure is a tool that is used in order to calculate something from the data that you have got, and it shows the result as one result only. So in this one, suppose I do the same thing. I name this measure as sales, some sales amount, and it is a measure. I say that, okay, this sum sales amount is from sum function, followed by the sales amount from the order detail table anyway. Okay. So when we have like this and I press enter, so the sum sales amount does not display in the table because it is not a column. It is a measure. So measure cannot be displayed together with the data in the table like this because the measure has just one value. But the table here, if you want to display, you have to display every single records data. It's different. So that's why in here, in order to display how the sum sales amount is, or what the sales amount, the sum sales amount is, you have to use a visualization to help displaying. And in this one, we have to use the visual that displays just one data only. In this case, I can use card to display that value. Then I just choose card, and then I go to choose the measure that I just recently created. The one I just recently created is sum sales amount here. Then I can choose this one and display. So this one, sum sales amount here that I get is 2.92 billion. So this is the way that we use in order to display a specific value that is created by a measure. That is what we use the measure to create in here. So when you get this data already, the next thing that you have to know is that where can we put the measure or columns in your table. You can see that when you have any columns, the column should be stick with like where the original sources of fields that you use. For example, when you would like to create sales amount, you know that the sales amount comes from the multiplication of unit price and quantity, where unit price and quantity are located in in order detail table. Then when you would like to create a column, sales amount that is from the multiplication of two fields in order detail, you have to create that column under that table. So that means when you create a column, you have to click on that table first, like order detail, and then you just click new column. When you create the column, okay, let's say this one, you see the column already, right? So the column will be created in that table for you. This one, it's under order detail table. This is a column that you created. while นะครับ while the measure is different measure can be anywhere can be in any table sorry can be under any table นะครับ it doesn't need to be with the table that you use the calculation formula but anyway my recommendation is that I still want you to use the measure to be located at the table นะครับ that you just like use the original source of data for example here นะครับ you can see that if you would like to find นะครับ the sum of the sales amount and you know that the sales amount is located in the table order detail okay my suggestion is that the measure that you use in order to create the sum sales amount should be here as well should be under orders detail table as well how do we gonna do that firstly before you create that measure you click on the table first in this one I click on orders detail table and then I just click new measure so the measure that is created นะครับ the measure that is created will be create นะครับ will be create inside that orders detail table as well นะครับ by the way นะครับ if you say that I don't like it I want it to be in the table that is not that doesn't have many fields so that I will not mix up so I just see oh I found that the categories table has just like 3 columns only okay then I'll create a measure I'll put the measure here so we when I display นะครับ the categories table it doesn't mess up okay so I can create new measure here and if I want to find some of the sales amounts let's say some sales amount test I can put this measure in this table as well I just put some function นะครับ followed by the sales amount นะครับ okay in here and then I close the parenthesis you can see that okay this one นะครับ it works I have the sum sales amount in here นะครับ underneath categories table without any problem and if I just want to show นะครับ my measure here นะครับ I can just like easily นะครับ just go to categories table and then choose some sales amount test in here as well in here okay so in this one นะครับ as I told you it doesn't have any problems นะครับ for the measure นะครับ to put anywhere it's different from our column because in terms of column นะครับ if we say that we want to find the sales amount by multiplying unit price นะครับ with the unit price with the quantity you can see that where the unit price and quantity are located in the sales order นะครับ when you would like to create the column นะครับ in another table instead like this one you create new column here and then you just like try to multiply unit price you can see that there is no unit price here นะครับ the thing that you have to do in case that you said oh I know that my unit price and quantity is located in order detail table but I want it to be stored in categories here then you may try to use related function นะครับ in order to find the unit price นะครับ I type unit price you can see that in here นะครับ when you try to relate unit price field into the categories table you can see that it doesn't show up why is that the reason is because if you have a look นะครับ for order detail sorry let me just like remove this column first okay if you go to see the order detail table นะครับ for order detail table นะครับ you have 2,000 rows นะครับ 2,155 rows but if you would like to display the newly created column like the sales amount in the categories table it has just 8 records only then it does not fit number of data that you would like to show นะครับ for the calculating in order detail because if you want to multiply the unit price with the quantity นะครับ from order detail there must be like 2,155 position to store นะครับ that output but in this table you have just like 8 records only at most you have 8 values to display that's why you cannot create the sum of the sales amount here that's why I told you that if you would like to create a column นะครับ from table sale order detail like this นะครับ you should put the that column into this table so that it will not be mixed up and cause a problem you can see that if we create the sum of the sales amount here there's no problem at all นะครับ if you in the order detail table okay so this is like what we studied from the last class okay so right now นะครับ today we just like come to the part that is like what we talk about the data source นะครับ the original source of data that that we can use in order to get the data from okay so today we will learn นะครับ the original source of data that might be in form of web นะครับ and the text file นะครับ web and the text file okay so in here นะครับ everyone we just like have to new our Power BI report file นะครับ so that we can get the data from another source okay so let's save this file first นะครับ the ABC sales file นะครับ if you did something นะครับ before this okay let me just like delete the demo column that I just recently created for you first okay category I have another column that I don't want as well okay and also I have a measure นะครับ in categories that I just like put it as a demo just delete it okay okay just a little bit นะครับ before we start the new report file I want you to see this one นะครับ for the way in order to notice the column and measure นะครับ they are different when you go to that table already if you want to know that for that value is it the column and measure or measure is that you just have a look นะครับ if it is the calculate if it is a calculator like symbol here นะครับ this is the measure and if it is just like a table with a sigma symbol here this is a column นะครับ now let me just like make this field list to be widened นะครับ and see what happened whether it's correct or not in here you can see that this one the calculator like one is measure นะครับ the table with the sigma symbol is column yeah so that's why in order to just like make it easy to notice นะครับ as I told you you better just like do some symbol to symbolize that this one is measure or column for me myself I put the parenthesis and then put the word measure or column behind that name so that I know that this is a measure or column straight away this one is good because whenever we have to create any visualization นะครับ you can do and you can choose that value quicker if you don't have any symbol or any extra name like measure or column behind that name the thing that happen is that it will just like mix with your original fields นะครับ like this one you can see that there are also just like some of the symbol like the calendar symbol as well that make you confused so that's why for me I just like put the word column or measure behind that okay right All right, then, before I move on to the next topic to get the data from different sources, do you have any questions about measure or column? All right. So if you don't have any question, just save your ABC sales file, and then renew a new report, Okay. So while the Power BI is creating a new file for us, I just want to show you that, okay, where or what kind of data are we going to get it from today. Okay, so now let's see. Okay. So today we are going to get the data from a website that is which one that I would like to get it today. Assume that I want to see the data from billboards. So everyone just Google billboard. What website that we should get? Okay, assume that in here I want to get the data from billboard.com to see the position of the music track. Okay, in here. Okay, now let's see, we will locate the position of the data that we want to get it from. Assume that I said, oh, I want to just get the data from the music chart. I go to the specific chart that I want to get the data. In here, I want to get it from Billboard 200. Okay, let's see. The things I want to tell you is that it's not every web page that you can get the data from. Some of the web page they lock and they don't allow us to get the data. While some of the web page they allow us to do so. Okay. Okay, I go to the Hot 100. I use this chart. Okay. Okay, I send you the link. Okay, this one. When we see this chart, okay, which is the data that we are going to get. We may want to get the data from this table. We want to get the data from this table. What should we do? When we know that, okay, we want to get the data in this one from this table. The next thing that we have to do is that we have to copy the URL of that web page. The one that I sent it to you on the chat box in here. So we have to test whether it's okay in order to get the data into our Power BI or not. How are you gonna do that? Okay. Now I'm switching back to Power BI here. So when you are in Power BI in this one, I say that I want to get the data. I can click here, get data, or I can close the yellow screen here, and then I go to Home tab and choose Get Data. Is the same thing. Okay, then I get the data from here. After that, you just scroll down to see web. Okay, it's here. Web is here. So you click Connect. All right, and after that, you just provide the URL for the billboard one into this box, and then click OK. So in this one, it will ask you that, okay, where would you like to get the data from? In this one, I want to get from billboard charts, Hot 100. In this one, you can see that we get it as the anonymous. Anonymous means that we don't log in or anything. That means when you log it, when you use the data from this website anonymously, It's equivalent to just like you use the public internet in order to get that data. While some of the website นะครับ they need the security, they need the login นะครับ so you may provide user ID and password นะครับ that it might be pop up to ask you what is your user ID and password, but in this case นะครับ Billboard doesn't have any login, so we decide to use it anonymous getting the data in here นะครับ so and after that it asks you that which level that you would like to get that data นะครับ from billboard.com only, from billboard.com/chart, or from billboard.com/chart/hot100. We went to our billboard website before, and we know that in this one we want to have billboard 100. Then you just specify that, okay, the level that you would like to get the data is from billboard.com/chart/hot100. Okay. After that, we click connect and wait. It takes some time in order to let Power BI to connect to that website and sweep the data from this website. All right, right now on my screen you can see that there are list of tables, list of tables. In this one, because Billboard website does not belong to us, then we may not know the structure when we try to retrieve the data from Billboard to be in Power BI. The things that you should do is that you should click on every single table that is provided in the navigator to see how the data look like. And if it is what you want, you just click to choose. Okay, now let me just like have a look on table number 1 first. This one, you can see that it seems like calendar. It is not like the data from the ranking that we want. In here, if we just like, you can see between table view and web view. The table view is like when it's retrieve and get the data into our Power BI. This one will be stored in a table, look like this. For the web view here, you can see that it shows just like this data for us. This is not what we want. Now I move on to the next table, table 2. Sorry. Okay. I see the table 2 already. This one should be okay. Should be okay. It tells us for the ranking as well. But anyway, we don't see any column name. We may go to the 3rd table instead and see plus icon and name, and column 2 is just like social network. This one should not be like the data that we want. We go to table 4. Yeah. Okay. So for table 4, it looks okay too, but it just like combine many symbol or many value like copy link plus icon or social network. No, this is not what we want. Table 5, no. 6. 6 is similar to table 4. Okay. Table 7, no. Table 8. Okay. This look okay. But anyway, if you want to see that which one that we want to have, you may have to compare with. You may have to compare with the web view and see which one that we want to have. This one, you can see that the data that we want to have is that we need to have like the name of the track. This one, you can see that, okay, we want to get the data starting from like all too well Taylor's version from Taylor Swift in here. Now let's see, we have to see the data, which one that just like sweep the data from like all too well from Taylor Swift. You can see that in here For my one, it's table 4. On your one, it might be different table. Don't worry. You may just like choose that table. Okay. Assume that I said I want table 4. Then I choose table 4 here. Okay. So on your required data, if it is on another table, just get that table. After that, we may load the data into our Power BI. When you load the data already, you can see that the data from the web is different, absolutely different from the data that we loaded from Excel, because some of the data might be the junk that we may not want. We have to eliminate it. Some of the data might be in data type that you don't want. You may have to change it. Sometimes the headings are not correct heading. You have to fix it. Different from Excel that we can prepare almost everything. Okay, now I think we finished loading already. This is the data that we have got. You can see that, okay, some of the columns, for example, column 9 to 16, I don't want it. Then we will eliminate in the Power Query editor. Hang on, let me just like take a look. We have to compare. We have to compare the data that we get from Power BI against the data from the website that we have got in here. Sorry, this one. Okay, so if we found that, okay, the data that we want to have for column 1, for column 1 we want it. This one should be the track name. Second one should be the name of the artist. Okay. After that, we said that, okay, just have a look at it. Okay, we have the column award, column last week, column peak, peak POS, peak position, and we have weeks on chart. Okay, so if you say that, okay, then you have to compare, because you can see that the first the headers of your Power BI is not the correct headers. Then you have to fix it. Okay, so now when we know that, okay, we have to manage a lot of things in here. Then the next step is that we have to go to Power Query editor. As I told you, you cannot change the original data in the web. Then you have to just like go to Power Query editor to change your own copy of data that you get into Power BI. Okay, now I go to transform data. That is the way to go to Power Query editor. Okay, firstly, I will eliminate the unwanted columns. The column logout, nothing. I don't want it. Then I will just like right click and then choose remove. Or you can go excuse me, you can go to home menu. After that, you go to remove column in this one. So you can see that the logout column is gone already. Next, awards, share, this one I don't want it to have. If I don't want, I just right click and then remove. Okay, next, from column 9, I don't want it. Then I may choose this column, remove. Column 10, no, I don't want. 11, no. 12, no. 13, no. 14, no. 15, no. 16, no. Okay. Now we have just like only the name of the track and the name of the artist with some data already. The next thing that I may have to do is that I have to rename all the columns. And you can see that it's different from the Excel that we did before. The first row is not the name of the column anymore. in here, so you cannot use like use first row as headers anymore. This one you have to rename this this column name manually. Okay, so for the first one, I want to rename this column as the track name. Okay. Second one, I know that, oh, this is the artist. Then I rename this one as the artist. Okay. For the third one, I don't know what it is. Then we have to go back to our billboard website and see what happened. In this one, -11. Okay, the column here that I have the data dash here, that should be last week. Last week, then I name it as last week. So for last week column and column 6, they are absolutely the same. If you have a look here, they are absolutely the same. Then I don't want column 6 because I have last week a column already. I remove it. Now, let's see the next one. The next column, my column 7, for the first track, All Too Well. I'm not sure. Then I have to go to see the next track, that is Easy on Me by Adele. In this one, you can see that it is 116. Okay, 116 in here. You can see that one in here might be last week. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Next one, Stay. Last week is position 2. Yeah, the column last week is correct already. Okay. Then I move on to the next column, column 7. Column 7, you can see that for Adele is it 6. Stay is 19. Yeah, it should be weeks on chart. Then I have to rename this column and name it as week on charts. And after that, I try to see column number 8. Column number 8, it seems to be duplicated with weeks on chart for every single record. Then I don't want it. I remove column 8 out. Then I have column 17. The things that I have to notice is that I just want to see that, okay, what is it? Let's see the data that look like outstanding. For example, in number 8, record number 8, heat wave by glass animals. Let's see what is 8 inside this record. I go to heat wave. Okay, 8 is here. Value 8 is here. So what is it? 8 is peak position. It's peak position here. That means column 17 means peak position. And lastly, column 18 seems to be duplicate with peak position. Then I just like take it out, remove it. Okay, right. So this is just like the way in order to manage the data that you get from the website. And when you see that it just like doesn't work as if you would like to have it, you have to use the Power Query Editor in order to help fixing this problem. When you say that, okay, it's okay, you are happy with it already. When you get this one already, you just click close and apply. So that the data can be in your Power BI, and then you can manage it to do the next thing. Okay. All right. Then it takes some time because they have to just like check against the data that it just like retrieve from the web. So my suggestion is that if you have to get the data from the web, make sure that you are connecting to the internet all the time, because if you just like make it offline to have the editing of the data, for example, if you are flying if you are flying and then you have to use the data that you get from the web sometimes it might not work, because especially when you have to just refresh the data or just like change some headings, it has to connect to the web in order to check the data that you download all the time. So it may just like cause a problem in that, okay, the data is not refreshed, and it may say that, okay, you cannot do or you cannot work with this data. So my suggestion is that, okay, if you want to get the data and use the data from the web like in the billboard chart like this, do it when you are connecting to the internet Inai said that I cannot load same table as you. I don't know why, but it's not display option for me to choose. It depends on just like configuration of your browser Inai sometimes some of the website you may not be able to download like that, because I mean, like for billboard chart actually you can see that it is not the quantitative website if we have a look on the billboard chart, you can see that most of the thing that we have, they are just like the ranking they are just the ranking. They are not just like, let's say if they talk about like the revenue of the movie, something like that, or it is the goal price, it is like in that kind of thing, they should standardize the website more than this don't worry this one I just like give you as an example only in order to get the data from okay, because this one is a trick that you should know. You will use it in the future when you just like have to work with the data, especially for anyone who aim yourself to be just like the data scientist in the future in order to analyze the data. Many times you may have to get the data from a specific website that is a public one At that time, if you have any problems in accessing this kind of data, just contact me. I'm still at MUIC anyway. You can just like write an email to me, and also you have my line ID already. Just like ask me, then I can help you. Same as your seniors. Long time ago, they graduated long time ago, and then they just like want to do something about, like at that time we study for database and Excel. They contact me that, Ajahn, I'm going to develop my database for my company. What should I do? I have this information, blah, blah, blah. And then I just like help him to just do that one. Okay, right. So for getting the data from different sources, like in the web, do you have any questions, anyone? So if you don't have any question, let's save this file and we name it as billboard billboard 100. Okay, yeah, and then you can just like use the visualization tools in order to visualize it. Okay, right. Okay, so apart from this one, apart from what to say, website that you can get the data from, okay, in what form else of data that we should know apart from this one we may have the data such as the form of what we call text file. How do we gonna get the text file? Let me just like check the data for you first before I let you download that data. Just give me a minute. I'm preparing the data for you in e-learning. Okay, so this one everyone, let me just like share this file to you. Just won't be long So I want you to see the file that are called as employee, suppliers, category, and so on in this one. I think someone may use this file before. Just have a look now. Okay. When you downloaded the sales order Excel file to use before, below the sales order Excel file, we had like the data that are from employee, suppliers, category, and so on. I want you to download all of these files into your computer, everyone. Okay, these are these are 7 separated files that I want you to see. Actually, these 7 files, they are not Excel, they are text file. They are text file. You might see that it has the X symbol here, that is Excel. Actually, if you remember, your Excel file must be ended as .xlsx, that is Excel file. But if you have a look on my screen, right now you can see that the files will be ended with .csv. CSV is a file type that is called as comma separated value file, comma separated value. Okay. It is the file that is the standard format. In the future, when you have to go for internship or when you have to go to work, in the most of the big organization, when they have like the system, when they have that system, the computerized system, in order to store the data like in database or whatever form, in the big system like that, once you download their files that you would like to get, it comes in form of CSV format, instead of Excel. Because of what? Excel, is Microsoft software. Sometimes some of the software doesn't have like this one as a standard one. They may not have the Excel file or Excel program. So that's why they can generate any file that is just like more common, that is more common. The CSV file is more common type of the file that is like compatible with any kind of like the computer around the world, including your smartphone as well. Every single smartphone, when you just like generate it, configuration or whatever thing, it generate the text file that is the CSV. Okay. Apart from that one, your smartwatch. Suppose your smartwatch collect the data of the heart rate, number of kilometers, the blood pressure, or the pulse rate, something like that. Once you download those data, to be processed more in the computer. For example, if it gives you the USB cable to connect to your computer, and then it said that, okay, you can download that the history of your health data. That one, it will be the CSV file. So that means if you use Mac, you can use numbers in order to get this file. If you use Google Sheet, you can upload it in order to use this file. That's why most of the platform generate the CSV file, not just the Excel anymore. So now let's see, I'll show you how CSV file look like. When you download all of the data, from employee to order already, the next thing that we are going to do is that I want you to go to that to the download folder. Okay. When you go to download folder, okay, in here, we get this these files. Okay, you can see that this one is called as comma separated value file. Okay, so this one we will see the order. Don't double click it. If you use Windows PC, right click and choose open with Notepad. But if you use Mac, you right click on order file, and choose open with text edit, text edit, because we want to see its original data. Now if you see on the Notepad, this is what we call comma separated value file, because you can see that after it finish any value, it has comma before it goes to the next value, comma again, something like this. This is what we call comma separated value. Why Excel can manage this? Because whenever you open up Excel, open up this file by using Excel, you may double click, or you may just like right click and choose open with Excel. You can see that Excel will try to manage this file by itself, because Excel knows that this one is the CSV file. Every time that it sees comma, it knows that it has to separate that value into another cell. That's why Excel can manage this one for you, in this one. Okay, so when you get the comma separated value file in here already, somebody just fix the data directly into this CSV file, save it, and then just upload it into Power BI. Or somebody just use Excel to help. In the past, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, no, less than that, 3-4 years ago, Excel didn't have a capability in order to automatically getting and transforming the data from CSV file for us. When we had to open up the CSV file into Excel, you had to just like specify that, okay, where is the border of each cell? For example, in this one, it will ask you that, okay, what is the delimiter that you use? Then you have to say that, okay, it's comma. Excel will ask you that every time you see the comma, would you like us to separate it into another cell or not? Or sometimes some of the CSV file has its fixed position. You may say that, okay, I fix this position to just like get into one cell instead, something like that. But right now, Excel has a capability to manage. It's smarter than before. It knows how to manage the CSV file and show you as the data that I showed you in Excel file before. Okay, in this one, for the CSV file, we can directly getting into Power BI, because Power BI is smart enough in order to show us, for and transforming the data for us. Okay, so everyone, so when you just like get all of these, you download all of these files already, we will just like do it in Power BI. We'll do it in Power BI. So how do we gonna do it? Okay, I will new a report in Power BI, and then we do it together. Okay, in this one, you can get the data directly from the CSV file. Okay, now let's see. I will choose text file. Here, I choose text/CSV, and then I choose connect. Then you just choose the file that you have. For example, in here, I choose order table. I choose order. Then I can choose open. You can see that in here. Okay. Power BI will ask you that, okay, this is the data that you are trying to get. Is it correct? So in this one, in most of the CSV file, when you get it, Power BI is different from Excel. It has to ask for your confirmation whether the things that you are getting is like what or how it looks like, and is it correct or not. First one, the things that you have to know when you get the CSV file is that you have to know the file origin. The file origin is just like normally it's set up by the the language that you use for the standard setting of the computer. So in this example, it shows 874 Thai Windows. Okay, yeah, if I say that the encoding of the characters that I have is Thai Windows, okay, I just leave it like that. But if you use like Chinese, if you use Japanese, if you use some other language like German, you have to check the file origin and then you have to change it accordingly. นะครับ or Korean นะครับ otherwise the display might be wrong นะครับ and next it just analyze and it asks you that what is the delimiter นะครับ that you have to use นะครับ in this one you saw on the CSV file that I showed you before it used a comma นะครับ and the data type detection it just like depends on the first top 102 rows top 200 rows for you. If you are okay with it, you just click load. But in this one, if you say that you want to transform it, you may just click transform data first so that it shows the Power Query editor for you. When the Power Query editor is showing up, you can just manage this data as you like. For example, in this one, I said that the first row is wrong. Then I remove top row first. And after that, I just like switch the first row to become headers. And when it is okay, now I just check all the data type that I have got. Order date here is not ABC. It's not the text type. It should be date. Then I have to change it. Don't forget when you change a new column, when you change a column type, Power BI always asks you whether you would like to have the new step or replace the current. Always choose add new step so that you know what you did. Okay. Require dates is date as well. Ship date is date as well. Okay. In this one, you may have to be careful Sometimes some of the dates that you get into Power BI may have the problems. Then you may have to check what's going on before you just like get this data into Power BI in here. So what should we do? In this case, you can see that because the text file in here is the CSV file. Somebody may just like fix the problem by going by opening this CSV file in Excel first and fix it there before you get into Power BI. Some of the people say that okay, the date that you get in here they are error. Then you just like ignore those records. It depends on what you want. Then you have to just like do like that. But I mean, in my exam, there's no problem. I'll just like prepare everything in Excel for you, not the CSV file. So that means when you get the data, you can be sure that all the data can be getting into Power BI correctly without any problems. Okay. So after we get like this and clean it already as you want, then you can just like use the data in Power BI as you like it. Okay. This is to get the data in CSV form or comma separated value form that you may want to have. Okay, right. So for getting the data in CSV format, do you have any questions? So if you don't have any question everyone, I have another set of data that you can play with it So let me just show you the screen. I just like find some source of data that is interesting. It is from the website as well. This one, it comes with the quantitative data so that you can calculate and you can just like process it. Okay. So in this one, let me just show you my screen. This one. Okay. Now let's go to this. I have another website that is Box Office Mojo. Box Office Mojo is a website that shows us about like the revenue of the movie revenue of the movies. Okay. So in this one, let's see okay, let me just like give you the link for Box Office Mojo first. Okay. In this one, please go to Box Office Mojo and then we try together. I go to International Box Office. I'll try which one? Thailand. Okay. Right, in this one, no. Okay. Suppose I would like to just analyze the data in here, in this table. The things that I have to the thing that I have to do is that, okay, I will just copy this table and get into my Power BI. Get into my Power BI in here. Okay. So in this one, I go to Power BI and do the same thing. I say that I want to get the data. This one, I want to get the data from web again. From web again. We choose web and then connect. Now you just like enter the URL that we find the data that is interesting, and then we click OK. Now we choose the level again. Then click connect. Now the next thing is that we have to check on each table, which table store the data that we want to use. Table 1, no. Table 2, yes. 3, no. 4 is the same as 2. Okay. 5, 6 5 and 6 they are interesting. Okay. So in this one, you may have to compare with the web view that whether it's what we want or not. Okay. So in this one, we just choose, hang on, let me see. Yeah, I think this one, table 2 is completed. Table 2 is completed. I'll use the table 2. Then we just choose table 2 and then choose load. The data in table 2 will be loaded into your Power BI and then you can just like set it up to be the data that you want. Okay, this one I go to the data view and then I just compare with my original data that I have got here. You can see that I have dates column, top 10 gross, yes, plus or minus LW, overall gross, plus or minus LW, releases, yeah, and then number 1 release and week. Okay, in here, I get this one. So, and then for the genre, budget, running time, and weekend, these are like the columns that I don't want to have. Then I can just like use the Power Query Editor in order to manage it. I go to transform the data again. Then I just eliminate the column that I don't want. You can see that for this column, when you go to the original data on the website, it doesn't show just like the genre or some other thing as well. So because I think they prepare this format for other pages, and this one they just hide these columns. นะครับ from the preview on the web browser. So that's why you don't see it on the web browser, but once you get into Power BI, it just show the blank column on those kind of thing like genre on those movies. Okay, so when you see this one and you think that okay, it is correct already. Okay. Okay, now we close and apply. Okay, so this is what I want. Can you please visualize the overall gross revenue for Thailand's movie in 2021 and visualize the top 10 gross of each movie in 2021 as well. I give you how long? 7 minutes to do this one. Visualize the overall gross revenue for Thailand's movie in 2021 and visualize the top 10 gross revenue of each movie in 2021 do it in 7 minutes so then I need a volunteer to show us on the screen okay, after 7 minutes. Okay, please do it by yourself now Okay, time's up time's up. Anyone would like to volunteer for sharing what you discovered for this one? Do we have any volunteer class? So if you don't have any volunteer, let me just find someone who may be able to help us นัดดนัยครับนัดดนัย are you here?นัดดนัย do you hear me? I think he is not here now. Okay, so Thanawin ครับ Thanawin, are you here?
Yes ครับ but I didn't do it in this device ครับ
You didn't do it in this device. Yeah. So but you just like finish it already, right?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Kanin ครับ Kanin, can you show us how we do it? So quiet. Okay, no worries ครับ just like let me show you how you're gonna do this one. Okay, so for the data that we get it you have to be careful because I mean like right now if you have a look when I ask you to do the hang on, let me see, let me just show you this one. Okay, you can see that the data that we get from top 10 gross and overall gross, these are text right now they are still the text one because you can see that in here it's the left align. We haven't said anything it's left align. The reason why it just like treat these two columns as a text is because firstly it has dollar sign. Dollar sign actually is a text. Okay, comma is a text as well, so that's why these two columns are treated as a text. The things that we have to do is that you have to transform these two columns as a number first, because in here you can see that we have to just like visualize the overall gross revenue and also top 10 gross revenue as well that are in these two columns. So in order to make it to be the numbers that means you have to change the data type. And as I told you earlier that in order to change the data type you have to go to do it in Power Query Editor. Don't do directly in Power BI because all the steps that you do will not be recorded. Okay, so I go to home menu and then transform data. Okay, so นะครับ I'll do it with the top 10 gross first. I'll duplicate this column นะครับ as well as the overall gross as well. I duplicate this column as well นะครับ okay, and then I'll manage with these two copies นะครับ so you can see that okay, this one for the top 10 gross, if I change the data type directly, let's see what happened นะครับ I change from A, B, C นะครับ the text data types to be fixed decimal numbers. It's all error. Why is that? Because in this one, Power BI cannot help you in order to identify the proper data type in here นะครับ so I just cancel first. The things that we have to do นะครับ the brief steps in here is this. After you duplicate this column already นะครับ you can see that the things that might cause this column to be error is the dollar symbol here นะครับ then I have to split dollar symbol from my numbers นะครับ from my numbers. so I'll just like choose the top 10 gross column first นะครับ and then I choose split column by delimiter. The delimiter now is dollar sign นะครับ I want to split dollar sign now. Yeah, then I just like want to split dollar sign นะครับ I want to split the leftmost delimiter. Actually, it has just like $1 sign in each cell only. And then I just click OK. Dollar sign is splitted already. And now top 10 gross will become the number. Okay. I do the same thing with the overall gross. Do the splitting column by delimiter again, and then choose dollar sign at the leftmost delimiter. Click OK. Now I get the overall gross already นะครับ in numbers as well. I delete unwanted นะครับ column นะครับ that is a blank column here นะครับ okay, and after that I just choose I just change the data type as I want นะครับ fixed decimal numbers ครับ on for both of them. Right, okay, when I get this one already, I can click close and apply. And then I go back to see in Power BI นะครับ for this data that has been managed already นะครับ in here. Right. Okay. In here, top 10 gross นะครับ I want to just like show the currency as the dollar sign นะครับ as the dollar sign, not Thai baht. Okay. As in overall gross too. Okay. And after that, I just use the visualization to display these values. Okay. In this one, you can see that if I want to find the top 10 gross, total top 10 gross, and total overall gross. Okay, in here, overall gross, top 10 gross in here. This one, let me see. If I just visualize here นะครับ just the basic one, I can use the bar chart to help. Okay, let's see. I want the overall gross. For each movie. Okay, let's see the name first. The name is release. Okay.
อาจารย์ครับ I think is the other release that on the top.
All other release. Okay, thank you ครับ Yeah. Okay, thanks. This one. Okay, so it just like show us for this one, or you can just like choose different type of the chart to show as well. Okay, this is for overall gross, and for the top 10 gross, you do the similar way. You do the similar way. Sorry, this one. This one, this is top 10 gross. Okay, so this is the way to display the performance of each movie from the website. Okay, so in this one, this is the way in order to have the data to be visualized when you get the data from the website. Okay.